what day is it? It's Friday. Friday, got the motor for the Zodiac, and then the Zodiac had 2 holes in it. Finally got them figured out and patched up. So, had to go to Nanaimo and back, ran into people the entire way. Every single stop we went to, somebody recognized us from YouTube and being interested in this topic. Interesting. Ran into a guy, a couple young guys who are working at a place called Kildonan. If you want to Google that up. Remote near Kennedy Lake, I think. And it's just the next hill over from DeMint Lake, where a bunch of shit goes on non-stop. There's a native land out there, community, small community, and that's where they're working, a couple guys. Anyway, so I've got a video on my phone that I've been asked to promise not to share online yet, but I can share it to people I bump into. I shared that video with probably, I don't know, 10 different people today, and every one of them was like, oh my god, holy shit. But anyway, quick mention. You guys know that when I get emails from all of you, I don't proofread them, I share them with you. And that is my ride that I'm sharing with you guys. I am sharing my ride and me accumulating my puzzle pieces. And I take from it what I will or I leave it. But I rarely say to all you guys, oh, that was a crock of shit, I don't believe that. I never do. Because it doesn't matter it doesn't matter, as far as I'm concerned, it should not matter to you if I believe something or not. It shouldn't. Every one of us is on our own ride. Every single one of us is putting together our own puzzle piece, right? And what was it, that guy sent the pictures of the apparent dead aliens shot. I don't know shit about those pictures. Do I give a shit about the pictures? Not really. But I emailed them in, asked me to share, so I shared away with you guys and said, hey, anybody know anything about these pictures? And I'm sure a bunch of people chimed in the comment section below. I know I got a couple emails saying those are dummies and paintballers or dummies somewhere and whatever. Okay, cool. That's what it is. There you go. But I shared it with you guys, right? It's not like I am in charge and I am in control. I'm not. We're all here together. We're all equal, and we all get to see the same shit that hits the inbox. Got it? There's a lot of people out there. I've been emailed a few times. You're so gullible. You believe everything. I've never said what I believe or not. Ever. I don't need to. I will be sharing, I can't say when, but I will be delivering a second book to all of you that'll be put together a little more differently than the first one. And I will reveal my thoughts on what I feel is important and legitimate and how it is legitimate. I'll be sharing eventually that with all of you, and that will be a big piece of my puzzle, if not the full thing. That's a different topic. But this channel is our ride together. We all get to see what gets emailed in, and we all get to decide for ourselves to take from items what we will or leave them. Okay? So there you go. And I've definitely had a whole pile of emails that I knew right away this absolute waste of time to share with you guys, and that got chopped out during editing, or else I get chopped out and go halfway through an email and think, oh my god, what is this? Damn, and then I gotta delete it. But that's when it's extreme, right? I've had a couple other emails that were, like here's one example when I did, the odd time I'll send the odd one to Dave Pilatus thinking, holy shit, check this out. Right? I had one emailed to me about somebody, retired person in law in British Columbia, who apparently seen of these things, basically taking a whole troop of humans as hostage, and the whole long story went on. The guy emailed from Florida, and he said, Steve, this is the first time I'm sharing this. Meanwhile, the exact same email was shared over a month and a half previous on another channel. So that was like, me and Dave agreed that was a bad stroke for legitimacy of that one. And also Dave also added in all the years and all the investigating he did, which he investigates. He never once came across anybody who had been harmed or disappeared directly via the Sasquatch, Sabe, bush people, right? So there you go. So I opted out on sharing that email here. But for me, my gut said no, and for me, when somebody addresses me as Steve in the email and says, this is the first time I've decided to share this, and meanwhile, he already did that with somebody else on another channel a month and a half earlier. Strike. But anyway, I'm babbling. let's get on with this. I've had some unfortunate moments with some audio lately, which kind of sucks ass. But anyway, what do we got? Well, listen to this one. Mark, this is read. This is fairly recent, and this is in reply to somebody else who emailed in to us. Good afternoon, sir. I watched your video from earlier today and heard of Brittany's circumstance and was astonished at what I heard. Listening to her email, it has all the hallmarks of a spiritual adoption by the Kushtaka, Tlingit tribe, Nant'ina, Den-Ena tribe, July, Eskimos of Southwest Country, or Bawis, also Bukwas, Kwakwakas, Sonequa tribe, or of course Seskets or Sasquatch from the Confederation Salish and Kootenai tribes. The reason I give these names is to spark a possible memory of what they, the Sasquatch, themselves to Brittany. Another reason is I don't know what part of Alaska she calls home. Anyhow, I hope this will help her and the others in the same situation. After I watched the video and her encounter, I called an Ojibwe elder in Minnesota who's been assisting me with the translation of the diaries I was given by my adopted Ojibwe father, Mr. Ash. This elder is 92 years old and one of the sweetest women I have ever had the pleasure to call my friend. I've tried to have her share the plethora of knowledge she holds and teaches the youth of her nation, but she said she's too old to type and she doesn't like the electric brain, a derogatory word for the computer. I've asked her if she would be willing to do a video or appear live on your channel, and she said she would think about it and let me know. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? That'd be very generous too. Now for that, Brittany, what you are experiencing is what the First Nations call spiritual adoption. The Sasquatch have adopted you the same way as if you adopted a child to be your own. They can come to us in our dreams at a time we are at the closest point of having our conscience being completely open. This only happens to us when we fall off to sleep or through hypnosis. You are not alone. There are untold numbers of people in this world that have gone through the same as you. One question I would ask you is, did you at any time during your spiritual meeting feel peace or incomprehensible calm? Or were you terrified throughout the meeting? It sounds as though they showed you no aggression and simply made themselves known to you at a time they deemed out was right. What were the circumstances of the night of your meeting? Were you uneasy, worried about the trip and the area, or was there something heavy on your mind at the time? You don't have to tell us what it was, just a simple yes or no will do. These people come to us at a time when, for some reason, they know it's time to make it known. You're not alone. They adopt us by reading our hearts and knowing our character. They see something in us that makes them come to us either physically or spiritually. You made note that you and others heard the yell or the roar of an individual coming toward you though you didn't see him/her. That may have been when your adopted family members decided they needed to make it known to you of their presence. The low growl you heard from the window you described as purr-like. That has been described by hundreds of people throughout Canada and the States. As was told to me through the elder, imagine a family member, a new family member at that, looking at you and a sign of, Since you weren't screaming at you, they weren't aggressive to you by coming through the window, which they can do easily. Tells me it was a form of, I'm here. As you went to sleep and had your meeting, did you feel peace, wonder, or fear? If it was fear, did it subside? What you described was a first meeting between family members, showing you how they live as common narrative given by many who have had the same experience as you. The elder was surprised to hear of the golden hue around the eyes of the Sasquatch you first saw. Gold, in indigenous spirituality is a metaphor for purity, strength, goodness, and well-being. That was shown to you because of a characteristic, humble heart, or it could be they wanted you to be at peace for what was yet to come. When you meet the mother and daughter of, and the daughter tells you, we are the same as you. And as Steve has mentioned, the many have heard, we are all the same. This has a deep and profound meaning. My heritage is Lakota and Cherokee. My father's father, my grandfather, was Cherokee. My grandmother was Hunkpapa, Lakota. My mother was Cherokee, Eastern Band, and Irish. Our family names have been recorded on governmental identification scrolls and documents dating back to the early 1800s, though I have tracked my family and on my mother's side 23 generations, and on my father's side of the family 19 generations. It was a genealogical journey that took me 12 years to complete. On my father's side of the family, I was truly grateful that the majority of the family were basically hoarders and never threw out anything pertaining to the family. Now this is why I told all this. In a Lakota cemetery or ritual, we use a phrase that every nation or tribe has a phrase for, and basically the same meaning. It is also a phrase we use when parting ways with someone or coming to the conclusion of a letter or correspondence. The phrase is Mitakyu Owesin, pronounced Mitakuye Oyesin, Sin, Oyasin. It means all my relations, or we are all related. It is a reminder that we are related to everything, it is a reminder that we are related to every living and non-living thing on Mother Earth. All things have a spirit and all things in life are connected. It also reminds us our ancestors are always with us and always pray for us to the Creator. The Ojibwe have a word for the same meaning. Indinawemaga Nidog, pronounced India Wim Ega Anidug, Algonquin Ojibwe alphabet. Though, unless Steve holds the phone to the camera, you may not see it. I'll attach to this email. All of my relatives. The elder, after hearing you say, the daughter Sasquatch told you, we are the same as you, said she was greeting you and telling you, you are family. As far as being adopted, and they let you see them and actually have a spiritual conversation, which I guarantee won't be the last time it happens. They will always be with you no matter where you go. You, 9 times out of 10, you'll never know they're there. It's that 1/10 of the time they make themselves known to you that could make the interaction a warning, sharing knowledge, and to help you in a time of great need. The elders speak of the Sasquatch having a power to touch our souls. Some have even described it as stealing our souls for a short time and returning it to us in what has been described as a wave of energy. As far as how they do it, that's one of the great mysteries they hold. Don't pay any attention to all the theories. That's all they are, theories, no facts. As my grandfather would say, theories are like assholes, some are bigger than others. The elder's advice to you is, find a medicine man or a woman, some tribes call them shaman, in the area of Alaska you live in, and bring a gift of tobacco and sage for your meeting. Be humble and honest while speaking to them about your situation. I will warn you, they can see bullshit from 100 miles away, but one glance into your eyes, they'll know you are sincere in your search for knowledge. No doubt, I agree with that one all the way. Do not contact any mental midget that has any ties to some so-called Sasquatch group. All they'll try to do is make you a feature on their YouTube channel or worse. Some will blatantly lie to your face, and some will try to make you pay them. You should never have to pay for knowledge. The greatest wealth of knowledge when it comes to the wilderness people are the First Nations and the indigenous tribes of the Americas. It may take some doing to find a medicine person / shaman in your area, but if you know anyone that is a member of the local tribe, speak to them. Tell them your situation. They can point you in the direction you should go and meet the right medicine person / shaman. Oh, be careful when some medicine person / shaman is eager to help you. They may be in partnership with a Sasquatch group. You'll know when you have found the right person. You'll feel it. All my best to you, Brittany, and to all the others searching for answers. While you're why you're receiving visits from family members you've never known, the help is out there. It's the original inhabitants of the land that have shared their lives with the wilderness people for more than 12,000 years. Stay safe, everyone, and get outside and live where your ancestors called home generations ago. We are all the same. Take care, Steve, and I'll be sending more information soon. I hope all of you have a blessed Memorial Day. Sincerely, Brian Stidham. Mitek Q, Oasin. All my relations, we're all related. Okay, man. And here... Oh, here's another email attached to the bottom. Good evening, sir. I just got off the phone with another elder who wanted to relay to Brittany to give her new family members offerings of tobacco and sage. She can also offer pine boughs. Tobacco and sage are two of the sacred plants, and the other two being cedar and sweetgrass. The pine boughs are used as bedding, as related in the old stories. If they accept the offerings, she'll know that she definitely has an extended family. That's all for now until my phone rings again. Sincerely, Brian Stidham. Gotcha, Brian. Absolutely appreciate that, man. And I will show the First Nations alphabet here. I think it should work. And that is the figures in the middle. I think that's focus, right? All right, there we go. Now, oops. How's that for some interesting knowledge? Right? Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of people. Man, I would say a bunch. There's probably a small amount of people are sitting here watching this, thinking they're being entertained or something. They might say that was a good one or that was a bad one, or maybe shake their head in disbelief and shun it all together. But who cares? You can have to take from that what you will or leave it, right? But I have a feeling that Mr. Ash's diaries are sharing a shit pile of very valuable knowledge. Very valuable knowledge has been kicked aside by the people who are considered to be somewhat in control today. It's a crazy ride. It's a crazy ride. So appreciate your time, Brian. So appreciate it. The time that you take to share with everybody through me is really, it's just such a generous gift, man. Absolutely appreciate it. Let me get one more share out here. Well, okay, what's this? This looks like 2 emails or something. And they're going to move off to another location. It's getting late in the evening. It's going to get dark soon. It's cold out. Read my email and seems part somehow did make it. The 2 uncles were at the old cabin at the back of the ranch. It was abandoned, and Gramps had opened one wall so the horses could use it as a shelter, which, by the way, all his kids were forbidden to play. Gramps told us it was too dangerous. It might fall on us. I'd never been to it at this point. Anyhow, Unks ran into the house right past me, Dad, Bro, and Grandpa. Soon the rest of the clan showed up from the different directions. Gramps sent all us kids inside. I heard him ask Dad to help him pen the pigs and chickens. As soon as they finished, we left for home. Well, after years went by, I seen the Patty movie. One time at the ranch, I asked Aunt Martha if she wanted to take me to the cabin so I could see it. She said, okay, but we'll have to walk because the horses would get really spooked back there. We headed out, and after about a half-hour hike, we made it. The cabin was in really good shape. So I said, Martha, why did Gramps tell us it was dangerous? She said that Grandpa thought some of the kids were smoking and whatever. He didn't want it to burn down. It was about half full of old hay and debris, so after a few minutes the gloomy feeling set in and we left. On the hike back, I asked her if she had ever seen anything weird back there or anywhere around the place. She replied she hadn't, but 3 of her brothers had seen Bigfoot multiple times over the years. Gramps' kids had like an 18-year age span. Story 2. 5 years ago, my wife was a non-believer and totally rolled her eyes every time I brought up the Bigfoot theme, until one night she was coming home from Troy Mountain. Just after crossing the Idaho border about 1 mile, she had to slam on her brakes to avoid hitting an animal. She said she screeched to a stop in her black Toyota sports car Celica, GT. All she could see, 2 feet in front of the car, was black, hairy knees. When she looked up through the sunroof, there were 2 red glowing eyes looking straight down at her. She was scared shitless and was still crying when she got home. It took me and my best friend over an hour to calm her down. She said it jumped 30 feet up the bank in one bound. We asked her if she would take us to the spot. Hell no, she said. If you want to go, just look for skid marks. She was never the same after that and passed shortly after. XOXO, my dear Candy, miss you, girl. Wow. Alright, and here's the original email before that one, I'm guessing, attached at the bottom. Well, let's get right to it. Steve, Forrest, Shane, Fallis here. Sorry, Forrest, Shane, Fallis here. North Idaho. My first sighting was in Kay County. I was 5 years old. We lived at Spirit Lake. One late spring day, my dad decided to take my bro and me out to my grandpa's farm. So we got in the car. My bro, 1 year older, always in the front seat. Darn, not this day. Wow, my first as shotgun. There's a few spells here, or typos here, you guys, alright? Punctuation's a little off. We headed towards the Blanchard. Not far, 7 miles. By the way, this is 1968, so it's standing on the front bucket seat, looking at everything. As soon as we hit the flat, about 3 mile mark, it opened into fields of wheat. Hey, Daddy, what's that funny-looking hairy man doing in the middle of the field? I say. Dad looked, said where I pointed. Huh? With a confused look. He slowed and stopped, got out, we watched. It walked to the tree line and vanished into the shadows. Headed straight towards there's typos, I'll fill it in best I can, you guys, just be patient. Headed straight towards Hoodoo Mountain. Sorry, my bro didn't see it, asleep in the back seat. Well, you see, my grandpa's farm was on the other side of Hoodoo, but in order to get there, you have to drive all the way around through Blanchard and another 5 miles on the highway. Then right on a gravel loop road, 2 miles. The old Corolla. Made record time. Yes, Dad made us put on the belts. As soon as we pulled in, Dad yelled for Grandpa as us 2 boys exited the car. He told Grandpa what we seen. Grandpa walked over to his porch and rang a bell. See, my grandpa had 13 kids, 5 are my age, within 3 years or so. As we walked 60 yards towards the back of the ranch, Dad spots 2 of my older uncles hauling ass towards us through the horse pasture, which, by the way, ends about 100 yards up Hoodoo. Gramps yells, everyone get here now. 2 uncles cleared the fence in one bound. One was crying, the other mumbling. All were, except for Dad, never talk about it in front of me ever again. So I feel pity for all that doubt. They are real, and I've known all my life. And if ever come up this topic of Bigfoot, I speak my truth. P.S. Open field day, light looked just like a patty but male. Grass was up about 2 inches below the knees. Wide open view, innocent child eyes. I never knew what it was until Patty film I seen years later. But still got vivid memory of that. The phallus, the curse generation. For lots more to that story we'll share. If you tell my first. Live free, everyone, talk the truth, and stand tall. Don't let mislead. Alright. Forrest, you had a little... I can tell it was a little awkward for you to type that out, but you did it, and we got it shared, alright? You definitely got it all across, alright, man? I think I do believe I remember reading that last email that I just read. So there you go, you guys. I was going to make a mention, we had to go to drop somebody off at the ferry today, and came across a fresh accident on the main highway. It was brutal. Bright sunny day, a couple of cyclists, cross-country cyclists, just got plastered by a pickup truck. And the theme of our day today has been how fast that can happen, right? Isn't it? It's just really, it makes life very real when you see that. You see somebody we were just talking about what that person must have went through. You know, they probably had families saying, quit riding your bike on the highway, it's dangerous, and somebody's going to hit you one of these days, or whatever. You're pedaling away, and boom, it's over. Just like that, you never know. We're all going to go. Every one of us is going to go, but it sure makes you, it makes me make sure that I do what makes me happy as much as I can. Right? And I just want to pass that along to everybody. You don't know when your number's coming up, so make sure you do what makes you happy as much as you can, you know? Don't waste any time. Don't waste any time. Alright, one more. Now get going. It's getting kind of dark. Looks like there's showers out towards the lake, so we're going to head out another way and restart up again, but I'm going to do one more here and then we're going to get going. It's titled, Why Me? Around 1960, I was fishing off a bridge in Pompano Beach, Florida. I was with a friend and his father. My line was out, and I was waiting for something to tug on my line. The bridge went straight across a body of water that runs from the Everglades to the Intercoastal Waterway. I was fishing from a location that was made 10 to 15 feet above the water. When I looked down and saw what I thought was a female swimmer, she surfaced on her backside and looked and seemed surprised to see me. Then she rolled over on her right side, and her head had submerged under the water and her backside emerged out of the water. Backside was grayish and silver in color and looked more fish-like, similar to a tarpon or maybe a dolphin, but not nearly as big. Then that submerged and a tail fin emerged out of the water, horizontal to the top of the water and made 6 inches across. Then it submerged and flipped the water in the air. Some small drops hit me in the face. This bridge is probably 3 to 4 miles inland from the ocean. Whatever it was moving inland. I was not the only person who saw it. My friend's dad saw it also, but that's another story. My friend told many a joke over the years at my expense. I've only told this one time since then, and that was to my son. And now I'm telling you. I was 9 or 10 years old at the time this happened, and now I'm 71 years old. I've done a lot of fishing since then, and I always hoped I would have another encounter like this, and it has not happened yet. I really appreciate being able to get this out. I feel really fortunate to have experienced this event, as brief as it was. I have one more experience to share, and I'll try to keep it brief. The year was 1981. I was in the Air Force, just arrived at my second assignment. Let's just say it was a classified assignment. I was working late and I stopped to get a cup of coffee, and I was fixing myself a cup when someone walked up behind me and casually started talking to me. I did not think much of it, seeing that I just arrived and I didn't know anyone. I didn't turn around, I was just going to get my coffee and go. The station captain came out of his room and complained about the noise, which surprised me because his room was at least 50 feet away, and we were not being loud, and we had only briefly been talking. I turned around, faced the station captain, and turned towards the person I've been talking to, and there was no one there. I looked around and I saw no one. Then I heard a low giggle coming from just in front of me and to my right. I was overwhelmed. I took my coffee and left. Later on, I overheard a conversation about an Air Force pilot who was assigned there and died in the airplane crash, and sometimes he would talk to people there. There was no doubt in my mind that this is who I was talking to. I never told anyone for fear that I might be referred for a psychiatric counseling, and that would automatically end my career. I know this sounds strange, but I swear it is absolutely the truth. I was there for 3 years and never had another encounter like this, which is all right with me. Now I look back and I wonder, why me? Being able to talk about these encounters makes all the difference in the world. I'm really glad that maybe I can share this with you and all the people who visit your website, and thank you for all you do. Ronald, that's quite the story, man, especially the first one. I don't think I've heard that flavor here yet. But like you say, somebody else saw it, and if somebody else saw that, they're probably here listening to everybody's testimonies here for sure, right? They're probably here. So, if anybody out there has seen something similar that was just described in this 71-year-old man's share with us, well, comment in the comment section below or email it in to me and I'll share it with the people. If you feel it's important, it may help somebody, alright? No matter how crazy it is, I mean, let's face it, just the fact that we're here is crazy enough. Hard enough to believe. The shit that's going on the planet due to us is hard to believe. The people we allow to be in control is really hard to believe. So, who's to say whether or not these stories have happened or not? But anyway, take from what you will or leave it. But more importantly, if you have seen something similar to what was just described in this email, and comment about it in the comment section below, or you can email me about it and I'll get it shared up with people, alright? Anyway, it's time to go. No rocks being thrown at me. No trees being knocked. And there's a new day tomorrow. So, hopefully if all goes well, we are going to take the Zodiac and we're going to drift that river that you see in the opening of the videos and videotape the whole schmeal deal. And that should be interesting. I'm going to cut this short right now because it's getting cold. And I've got my co-pilot sitting on the quad right there. And she gets colder a lot faster than me. So, we might take the quad up to the lake maybe. It's not the most pleasant evening. It's drizzling, it's windy, it's kind of chilly. But I wanted to be sure that I got this one out. I know I've had some audio problems this past week, which drove me fucking crazy. Time, right? I don't know if there's any, I don't know what the chances are, but I kind of highly doubt it. But if there's any tech geeks out there who are living near me, and you would like to come over and possibly get hired to help out, set up the man cave, make it soundproof, and you could possibly be the podcast geek that makes everything go smooth while we talk to people live. Alright? If that's you, send me an email. But be sure it's not somebody who kind of thinks I know what I'm doing. I want a true professional geek who's got more knowledge than any of us when it comes to all this shit. Video, audio, internet, and make it happen, alright? We'll talk. I'll be back shortly.